Well, let's get more now on all the latest developments coming out of the United States with the US election, and Democratic strategist Calvin Dark joins me now. Good to speak to you again, Calvin. We were speaking on Sunday night just as President Biden announced that he won't be running in the US presidential election 2024, endorsed Kamala Harris pretty swiftly, didn't he? And now we've got that crucial endorsement from the Obamas. There was a brief gap, though, in between, and there was plenty of speculation as to whether the Obamas did approve of her or not. What was that all about, do you think?
Well, first of all, good to be here. And man, what a difference a week can make, especially when we think about how Democratic voters are feeling. I think most Democratic voters, Vice President Harris is a wonderful candidate. She's popular, but I think Democratic voters are enthusiastic because they have a choice that they can be enthusiastic about. Now, when it comes to the Obamas endorsement, I just want to say that the Obamas know how politics and the news work here. First of all, there was never any doubt that he would give the endorsement. We saw the delay for two reasons. One is if Obama had come out and given his endorsement on Sunday when many other leaders had, it would have given the impression that the Obamas were orchestrating things from behind the scenes, and it would have discouraged a challenger to Kamala Harris. That's the first reason. Second reason is by letting this play out for a few days, it built anticipation. And we now see that their announcement has made news, and it's going to be a big news hit before the Olympics start. So I think it was key. It was key in the video that the Harris campaign released, where they said earlier this week that was to stamp out any doubt that the Obamas have been with her since the beginning.
And Calvin, we just saw that report. I don't know if you caught it about the fact that Kamala is brat. And it's a whole new demographic. I mean, explain to our viewers how significant brat is in the Urban Dictionary in the US, but also, like, this is a really important demographic to attract now, isn't it? Because I think the significance really is that it's showing that America is ready to move on from the older guys who have been really keeping US politics to themselves and move forwards again. And this time, not only with the next generation, as President Biden mentioned, but also with a woman.
You're exactly right. And, you know, I may not be really young, but I'm young enough to appreciate how brat is significant. I think for your viewers, if you want to see something interesting between now and November, hear the members of Congress whose average age is in the 70s in the United States trying to explain why they think that's significant. I think this demonstrates the enthusiasm. I'll quote former GOP Republican candidate Nikki Haley, who said during the primaries that the first party to remove the 80-year-old candidate has a really good chance of winning. And I think that is correct. However, as optimistic as I am, I want to put this out here so that people understand. There are two challenges. One is the social media enthusiasm is amazing to build enthusiasm to go to the polls, but it only counts if young people vote. And that's the problem. A lot of times people think a post equals a vote, and it doesn't. The second thing is, in our system, Kamala Harris still has to win the Electoral College. And the reason that's important is just getting more votes doesn't help her. Joe Biden got 7 million more votes than Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. So if we have 1 million more people in California and New York who support her, if they're not in these key swing states, she can't win. So we have to keep that in mind from now until November.
So if we are then to look at the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign, Calvin, obviously the Harris campaign is very short-lived. It's only barely 1 week in, let's say a few days in. Really, former President Trump was tipped pretty much to win this now. He's got a run for his money now, hasn't he, with Kamala Harris? There seems to be a lot of positivity around her.
A lot of positivity, a lot of enthusiasm. We also know that the areas where Donald Trump is most vulnerable is on the issue of abortion, how he has treated women, and now having a woman of color as his opponent who was a former prosecutor. So, you know, that debate is going to be like major pay-per-view on TV here in the United States and around the world. But it also shows that voters from the beginning of this election cycle said that they wanted an alternative from Biden and from Trump. And he knows that when you have now a young, diverse candidate who can make history, and now Trump is the old man on the ticket, they're going to have to reformulate their campaign strategy. And at least if this first week is any indication, they are struggling.
What a difference a week makes, Calvin, to both campaigns. Great to have your analysis with us here on Sky News. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.